Well, there was a first yesterday as the Detroit Lions won a game versus Minnesota on a game-winning touchdown on the last play of the game. I have a question here, though. What happened to the Minnesota Vikings? Earlier this year, you're like, okay, this offense is really good, and this defense is pretty good. Now, they lose to Detroit on a game-winning touchdown, because what is Dantzler doing on the play? I don't know what kind of coverage they were trying to run. They failed, because they allowed St. Brown just to curl in the inside of that and catch the touchdown, and that's how Detroit won. There's a lot of issues with the Minnesota Vikings at this point. The Ravens' cornerback position gets a little thinner as Marlon Humphrey is expected to be out for the rest of the year with an unspecified injury as they lost Marcus Peters early in training camp. Now they lose Marlon Humphrey for potentially the whole year. The Steelers beat the Ravens, but Tomlin and Big Ben had to face future questions. Tomlin said that they're not worried about that. They're focused on moving forward. Same thing. Big Ben Roethlisberger said the same thing. They're focused on their next game, not what happens 2 or 3 months from now. And according to Tomlin, about when the Ravens decided to go for 2 to try and go win the game, he said they look at the analytics, so they're very predictable. Which I like Coach Tomlin because he's very real about everything. But I also like Harbaugh because what he said was, we're trying to win the game there, which is what you're trying to do. Especially the fact that the Steelers went and scored 17 points in the fourth quarter, had more offense in the fourth quarter than they had in the entire game in terms of yardage. Through the last 3 quarters combined, they had more yardage in the fourth quarter than in the previous 3 quarters. The Steelers' defense was attacking Lamar Jackson as they had 7 sacks. So it was not a great offensive performance by the Ravens, and their defense was getting destroyed because they gave up 17 points in a quarter. You can understand what Harbaugh was trying to do. Lamar kind of rolled his ankle, so he wasn't completely right. And Lamar just ended up missing Mark Andrews, and the Ravens lost. And you could see the frustration on the Ravens sideline. But the Steelers somehow find a way to hang on and beat the Ravens and somehow can keep their playoff hopes alive.